to draw players out a little bit.
Down the other end, we've got Teddy Richards going to Taylor Walker and Lewis Roberts-Thompson at fullback on Kurt Tippett.
Second qualifying final, umpires Luke Farmer, Matt Stevick and Justin Schmidt, and away we go on a glorious day in Adelaide. And Van Berlo, the skipper, gets to the footy first. He got his slipper into it. Appeals from the Sydney players for deliberate, but it will be thrown in.
Just starting to sort themselves out, reposition. That would have surprised Adelaide, that move. Won't last long, you wouldn't expect, but nonetheless it has it's started.
Thompson in there, he's in the middle of that, one of the Brownlow medal fancies. He's had a wonderful season, and he hands the football back. Can't help but wonder, of course, about the absence of Grundy, with a big key forward in Walker coming back into the team. We saw already the key forwards, they've played their part in the finals first night, and the big kick out of the middle now. Well done by Pike. McVeigh wrapped up. Dowdy got him. Good tackle. Pressure on early. They hold up inside 50. And umpire says he'll bounce.
Well, Baz, you spoke about the absence of Grundy. Marty Mattner's set himself up as the +1 loose man in defence for the Swans to help provide a chop out for LRT and also Ted Richards.
Quick kick out of the middle. It's booted forward. O'Keefe it was. Free kick, and it's going Riley's way. For the Adelaide Crows, the two number 3s tangling. McVeigh holding on. Here it is with Vince back in the team.
And a welcome inclusion indeed to Douglas. Terrific. Used his body well, and Ablett-esque. Senior just takes the diving mark over the top. Wants Petrenko. Takes it cleanly almost. Spilled it in the end. Johnson just held up. Crashing through short. Dishes it wide now. Hanbury hurriedly to half forward. He's got to sit and wait a while. In the end, Morton. And Douglas just feeds off some crumbs. Taken high. Free kick. Wright will be the recipient.
Saw Petrenko come out and attack the ball hard for the Crows. That's important. Looks like he's playing a defensive role on Reece Shaw.
So Wright then boots the ball towards half forward. Tippett flies. Just the one hand up. It's close to the line. Boundary throw in.
Well, what a beauty first up. You're going to give away a free kick, you might as well count.
So ball on half forward for the Adelaide Crows. They wrestled for it. Third man up, down in front for Adelaide, high on Jack. Tippett did well at the boundary throwing, but the tackle.
Two boys that shared the same room, these two guys over in Ireland, Jack and Dangerfield. So they know each other's strengths, and they could have a bearing on today's result.
Two of your boys, Mick. That's a lazy effort, really, from Jack. He didn't get far enough back, and Dangerfield, as he kept it in, no. Gee, that was almost very careless from Jack. Lucky to get away with it.
And what a great head-to-head matchup. They're two, probably the form midfielders, and particularly the second half of the year. We'll watch that one unfold with great interest.
So the Crows, they push forward. Talia, what a week he's had. What a year he's had. What a season Adelaide have had under Brenton Sanderson. New coach, new style, new confidence. They've won 11 from 12 here at Amy under Sando. And they've won 6 from 9 finals. The Swans, they've travelled so well this year. An absorbing, fascinating contest on the menu this afternoon. Quickly Smith, a hurried ball inside 50. Well, Smith, Swans variety, just attack the football as he's done all his career, and it gets held up.
Yeah, it's typical finals. The heat is on. Players keeping their eye on the football. When their turn comes, they have to go at it. So it causes a lot of these type of stoppage.
Jacobs and Mumford. Tippett, third man up. Quickly a bouncing ball. LRT thrown back in defence after Heath Grundy got rubbed out during the week. Richards, sensational season. Underground to O'Keefe. Walker, the pressure is on. And the umpire says all okay. Oh, and his back is the decision. I looked at the umpire the first time and he ran. I thought he was going to bounce. So a reprieve for the Swans.
It was a delayed whistle, wasn't it? At one stage there, it looked like it might have been holding the ball against O'Keefe. He did have it a long time, but in the end, okay. So he goes out wide. Here's Mattner. Now Smith. Inside defensive 50, looks upfield. Roberts-Thompson, the player, breaking for him. You've got a view of it right now at home. Roberts-Thompson runs onto the footy, and the kick for Morton in his first final. The only Sydney Swan out there today playing final number 1. McKay gets the handball off half-back. Mumford, well done. Stood up. John Cock did equally as well. He smothered the footy, then brought it in. It's still inside the field of play. That's going to be in the back against Matthew Wright.
Just see John Cock on screen there. Marty Mattner was the Swan who's orchestrated the loose man for Sydney. His direct opponent is John Cock, so we'll keep an eye on as to who's more influential out of those two players.
Smith played on quickly to Kennedy, and now through the middle of the ground. Hanbury's kick. It's a bouncing ball. Awkward one for Mumford. Sloan gathers. Gee, there's been some smothering in this game. Bolton after Mumford's good work. Thompson not sure about the disposal. Here's Jack. He gets a little handball up, and that's a good saving mark. Taken deep in defence for McKay. Brodie Smith confronted by Goods. Doughty now in trouble. Handball comes Sydney's way. McGlynn for the first goal of the afternoon. He's offline just to behind. 5.5 minutes for the opening score of the game.
Isn't that just typical Sydney? Just at you and at you and at you until it forces the error. They had a bit more time up there, so there was 3 players standing next to each other from Sydney. Any one of them could have picked it up and had a shot on goal, but that is just finals football at its best.
It was 17 minutes before the first goal last night. Tippett, Mumford, they do battle. The truck just rolls on through in Rutten. Got taken to ground, and quickly the Crows gather. Jacobs, Lewis Roberts, Thompson, bouncing ball. Jacobs did okay, then he got it away to Vince, and now to Thompson. And Thompson just ambles along the boundary, calls a few forward. John Cock coming off a 4-goal haul last weekend. Johnson stood up and did well, then just held John Cock away. Richards, he dished it off. Smith, he finds Goods. And they do well, the Swans in the back 6.
Good brave ball use there from Smith. Provided the outnumber, got control of the ball, wasn't afraid to use the ball inside the corridor. He started well.
Hanbury now. A bouncing ball, no. Douglas just cut it off. I thought it was going to be Bird that had to wait for it. Douglas did well. Now sends it forward. Walker back in and taking marks inside 50. What a target he's been this year.
He's been a beauty, and he's just, I don't know, he's not the tallest player, but width-wise he's so solid. He reminds you very much, and I know this is a big call, but he reminds you very much of the Dunstall-type Lockett body shape. That they're big, they draw the ball. Teddy Richards really got lost there. He stood off him, and then the panic slipped in as soon as that ball was turned over.
4 goals in each of his last 4 games. Walker for the first goal of the afternoon. The crowd will let you know. I think it shaved the post. It was hard for them to know that early. They got excited.
They're an optimistic crowd. They've cheering everything at the moment. The boy from Broken Hill, he's going to provide a really strong target. Great inclusion. That's just shaved the post, I reckon, there. But that's one of the most pivotal matchups of the game. Ted Richards and Tex Walker, both all-Australian form.
Malcheski to O'Keefe, and then Malcheski keeps running from fullback. He sends it long up the wing. Good mark by Rutten. Read it well. And pushed off Mike Pike and can send Adelaide back into attack. Who would be the happiest so far, Mick, with the start to this game? I guess it's pretty even, really, isn't it? There's a player down. No free kick.
I think it'll be Sydney. I reckon Sydney's been able to take... they're not the crowd out of it, but certainly the sting out of the game.
Yeah. O'Keefe, Hanbury, Shaw, and now McVeigh through the middle of the ground. Spectacular football. Here's Adam Goods. He takes a bounce. He's inside 50. Now for the first goal of the game. That's what September's all about.
Ominous signs. He's been out of touch in regard to his high levels. Nice way to start it.
Yeah, Hamish, I love the fact that he started up on a wing. Quite clearly, John Longmire's just given him a bit of a licence to get his hands on the footy. Probably wouldn't have expected that if you're part of the Crows coaching staff. McKay's playing with him. We know McKay can run, but he can't run with the same strength and power that Goods can. So that's a significant structural win for the Swans.
This is a perfect kick by McVeigh. Absolutely fantastic. Once Goods got in behind his opponent, it was all over because he's got the pace to run and he's got the steadiness. He knows that he can't rush the kick. The last kick, you must put it away when you bounce the football.
We know he's got an extraordinary CV. He and Jude Bolton play final 21 this afternoon, a club record for the Swans. And he opens the Swans account. Quickly, the Crows just hack it forward. Well, diving was Callanan, finally playing finals football at age 29. Vince, he goes, he's got the lead. Walker, LRT, they battle Walker. He wins the wrestle. LRT beats him to the ball and does well, and then just crashes the ball out of the dangerous territory for the moment. Doughty just knocked it forward and gets it back. Can he find a target? He finds Talia.
Significantly, Hamish, Walker was the player who chased Goods so long. He's actually on his haunches now. He's put some petrol tickets into it.
Talia to Riley, inside 50. Again, the Swans have the answers. Kennedy, he doesn't like too much going forward. He has to wait a while, but his kick perfectly finds McGlynn. Now, little ball over the top, wasn't good. Vince quickly to Sloan in his first final. Hurriedly to Petrenko, more finals than any other Crow. Fumbled it initially. Wright picks it up, does well. Back to Riley. Now to Walker on the lead. Off hands, a chance for Smith to mop up, and does. Back to LRT. He's played so many roles for the Swans this afternoon. It is a big one. Callanan steps inside onto the left. Can he finish? Bouncing ball. Well, in the end, Matner did a very good job.
Fantastic play by Sydney to cover that, because that ball was coming in. And I think the thing that certainly that Tommy said that Walker was exhausted when he went for that mark. That's why he dropped it.
Walker doing the ruck work now. Mumford behind him, down in front. Poor pleasure. Taken high perhaps by Dangerfield Malcheski. Touch ball the call, so Riley is marked. There was no whistle for high. Riley's kick back to the hot spot. Walker! Back in the team, hands on the footy. Mumford wanting man in front, but the umpire says it's Texas ball.
Geez, I loved your call, Mick, about the Dunstall-Lockett type here. He looks a player that would have excelled in that sort of era too. He's big and tough. He was blowing really hard after that chase, but he's certainly up and about. This is a great contested mark. 3 deep. Took it at the highest point. That's a fair call.
Sydney lead by a goal. Regular season, Taylor Walker finished with 53 goals, 30. He was 7th in the race for the Coleman medal. He's had the footy here a long time. Called to go by the ump. Crowd hushed for Adelaide's first of the afternoon. Kick is on its way and the crowd tells the story. The Crows have levelled it up. We've got a level ball game at Amy. Well, it's hard not to ignore those comparisons, isn't it? He is just like the big old hulking style forwards. He looks like Tony Lockett and Jason Dunstall, a cross between the two in body shape and hairstyle for that matter.
He's put a bit of work into his hairstyle this afternoon. Freshly conditioned. If you want to know what the breeze is doing, get a good look at Tex. He'll be flapping away at the back, but that's a really positive start.
Well, this is a perfect example of keeping your eyes on the football, getting the lift. Yes, he certainly had it first. It could have been argued the case with Mumford, but no, hands first for Walker. Great mark.
Quickly they go forward again. The Swans O'Keefe around the corner. That man Goods. Right place, right time.
How often, Mick, do you see that quick kick out of a stoppage? It's a bit of a mongrel punt. Plays with the forward.
Playing in front of the forward, because the back's not too short. So it's a short distance, so if you play too far in front of a short distance, you're going to get done over the back. So that one player is always at risk there.
Such a complete CV. He has 1 goal for the afternoon. You see what is before him, and he handles it perfectly. Goods has 2, Swans have 2, and they lead it by 6 points. It's hard to think of a player with a better CV than this man. I mean, he's done it all, Adam Goods, and he continues to keep on doing it so beautifully. Just when you think he's down and out, he just steps up again. 32 years of age and refusing to wilt. September is a month he enjoys.
Just the importance of centre clearances. The Swans, particularly at home in the SCG, great at this. Jude Bolton driving through, and as Mick Malthouse touched on it, fell short. Always favours the forward who plays in front.
So Goods then with his 2nd goal of the game this season against the Adelaide Crows. 14 kicks, 7 goals. It's a nice strike rate. Mike Pike, he got it from Goods. High ball out in the bird direction. Tough one there. Reid got his fist to it. Not sure about the wisdom of that one. Down in front now, Thompson from Doughty. Not a good handball. Reid did well. Here's Kennedy. McGlynn took a bad bounce. Reid keeps going. Inside 50. Very close to the boundary line. He hooked it back. Here's Adam Goods for number 3. A little dummy through the middle. Then the handball was only as far as Riley. Probably need to release a little quicker. Brodie Smith, clearing kick. Dangerfield can't mark, but he's away.
And we know he's got the pace. He takes a bounce. Now another. This crowd will go berserk. He goes with a poor kick in the end. And the Swans have got the numbers again. Hanbury received from Malcheski, now to O'Keefe. And maybe they can hurt on the counter-attack. Jetta, he's got speed too. To 60, to the goal square. No one at home but Riley. And the Crows will work it through again.
That's lack of understanding of the depth of the ground there. Jetta had another bounce in him then, and he should have taken that. That would have taken him just inside 50. His kick's along anyway, but that was always going to fall short.
Without he, in the end, just a little ball to Sloan on the outside of his boot.
It's always the trap playing at this ground. You've got to run and carry the ball and try to take it over the next line.
Mistake there. Hanbury went and got the football, then lost it. Bird, Hanbury, Goods. Talia did the tackling. Back to Bird, now to Jetta. From a one-step start, it is offline.
Hasn't Adam Goods come to play today?
Well, I was going to say, we've got rising star on rising star, Adam Goods from 1999 to Talia in 2012.
If I could just come down to Kirky, I'd just be interested to see which end is the favourite end re-win, Kirky, if you can just give us a bit of a valuation.
Probably there's a slight right to left at the moment, Mick, as we see, but there's really no advantage at all to either side.
Here's McKay then for the Adelaide Crows on half-back, and he looks upfield. A blemish from the skipper just moments ago. They were lucky to get away with it. Van Berlo pushed underneath the football. That was a bit dangerous. Douglas. There's a whistle, and it is going Adelaide's way.
Just let him up, please. Thank you.
So Cullinan's free kick. He plays on immediately in the Tippett direction this time. Alex Johnson right there with him. He got a touch over the line for a throw-in.
Just feel that Sydney have settled just that marginally better, and some of the kids from Adelaide are starting, they're just feeling their way.
Sydney by 7 points. Jacobs worked his way to the front. I'm not sure about that. A throw from Jetta, was it? And that's what the umpire calls. Good decision. Van Berlo with the free kick.
Walker and Tippett deep for Van Berlo to consider.
Johnson and Kennedy, the two players the Adelaide Crows need to avoid.
Tippett and Walker, why wouldn't you go in that direction? Off hands in the end. Richards knocks it down, and Jack just hurriedly kicks out of danger. Bouncing ball in the end. It worked out perfectly for the Bloods.
You mentioned the rising stars, Tom, Talia and Goods on each other from 1999 and this year, and of course Daniel Hanbury. There's three rising stars out there. Hanbury in 2010.
Pike, Kennedy, Hanbury on cue. Now Bird finds himself with a heap of heat on him.
Sydney just got this knack of being able to get as many numbers around that ball and squashing anything that comes out. If you get a score from a stoppage against Sydney, you're going very well.
Tippett just improvising as ruckman, and he'll have to do it again.
Sydney's very best players are getting their hands on the footy. Josh Kennedy already with 5 contested possessions. Goods obviously with a couple of goals. O'Keefe with 6, Hanbury with 7.
Pike just knocking it down in the shore direction. Couple of shores out there, a crow and a swan. Coming back, is it? What have we got?
Is that Jetta again? He's already been pinged once for a throw.
You can see here Jetta just sort of passed it over the top.
He hasn't settled his nerves yet. This is a couple of errors. He ran open goal from 50 admittedly, but that's his second throw. It's that heat. It's that moment in finals football where you've got decision making is so acute.
Well, he wears the number 23. Andrew McLeod wore it so well. I'd love the home crowd for number 23 to kick one here and bring it back to within a point, but a minor score only.
Tim Watson played 23 finals with the Bombers. Tim, a real final start to this game. Just exactly what we expected, I guess.
Well, it is. It's tight, it's aggressive, and the space dries up.
Sydney by 6 points. And you heard the call from the ump. Shaw's kick was touched, so they contest on half forward for Adelaide to bring it back into attack. McVeigh, though, sweeps a handball forward. McGlynn, he's been busy. We saw him against the Cats last week on Saturday afternoon football. Equally busy. The footy over the line, though, in front of the interchange areas, and will be tossed in. Sydney 2-2.
Great shot.
Adelaide 1-2. Jacobs working his way to the front. Mumford, though, got his hand down there. Hanbury worked forward. There's a whistle. And it's going Hanbury's way, I think, against Van Berlo. So here's a chance for Jeddah to calm those nerves. Ball wasn't kind for him. It wasn't a great bounce. Doughty over to Thompson and over the line again for another throw.
It's interesting, Jeddah's sort of out of confidence at the moment. He started so unbelievably well, 30-plus goals in the first 15 games of the season, just a goal in the last month. And his start, Tommy, this afternoon won't help him.
No, he's got his hand on the ball, but Mick made the appropriate call. He just looks a bit nervous. Doughty's running with him, an experienced campaigner. Played plenty of finals footy himself.
You see the top of your screen there, Wright getting an elbow in the back of the head from O'Keefe.
And Lewis is very much a confidence player, so they want to have the balls in his hand early, trying to get those nerves out of him.
Rutten playing final 10 as a Crow. Been a pillar for the Crows for so long. Just works the ball down the line. Sloan in final 1, Bolton in final 21. A club record with Adam Goods, and Goods has started the afternoon beautifully, and Sloan takes Johnson over.
It's one of the added benefits for the Crows with Heath Grundy out, means that Mike Pike's going to have to spend considerable time forward, given that LRT needs to play back, and Rutten's certainly more suited to a Pike type than a Goods or a Reid.
Just over 5 minutes remaining in this opening term, and we're going to have another bounce.
And even Lewis Thompson with his mobility would get Rutten too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he has. It's a good match for Rutten.
And Mumford very close to holding on there. They got into their move early. Jacobs, that was well done. Down to Paul Pleasure. He was wrapped up as soon as he grabbed the football. That's the sort of pressure we can expect today. And the umpire just watching on. He'll go again. Here they are again, wrestling the two big men. Jacobs, I reckon, won that one down again. Kick towards half forward from Bernie Vince. Bouncing ball, ends up with Tippett. Did Roberts Thompson push him in the back? Umpire says no. O'Keefe to Nick Smith. John Cock grabbed him. Little handball again from Alex Johnson. Not a great one. Dangerfield. He got it back to the skipper. And then the quick kick comes in forward towards John Cock. He couldn't mark. It was Smith's kick inside. Tippett, not sure about the handball. Richards, maybe taken high, bursting his way through Kennedy. Oh, that's superb football. The release not ideal, but it got across to McVeigh. Now maybe taken high O'Keefe, and that was excellent work from Hanbury, putting his head over the football. And O'Keefe, a hard-earned free kick, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that free kick. What about just the will of Josh Kennedy before? Tucked the ball under his arms, got it surging forward.
Reid flew, couldn't take it. Now a bit of pressure on Shaw. Morton. First final for him, a late in for Tommy Walsh. Reid, he's there too, and they'll hold it up.
It's almost like last night revisited. It's just so hard to get through. Even here, Kennedy's work to bullock his way through. He still had so much opposition. That's why he couldn't control the football in the end.
Bullock's a good word to describe Josh Kennedy. He's had a fabulous season. Now Walker gathers and gives. Now to Douglas. Quickly forward. John Cock is there. He's got McKay if he wants him, and he goes in that direction. Elartree, he tries to shut him down, but the kick was perfect.
Yeah, that was terrific play. Douglas involved in the build-up, just precise kicking. The Swans' pressure at the moment. If you get some free steals on camera, it seems to be more red jumpers around the play. So if that's the case, you've got to be precise with your ball use, and we saw on 2 occasions there the Crows finishing up with McCain. He's a very good kick of the football also.
Well, if he's good on this occasion, he will level the score up at Amy in the second qualifying final. A picture of concentration. He ambles inside 50, and this time he's just offline.
Just looking at the windsock, it's only a slight bruise, but it's actually taking it across the ground, exactly where that ball ended up.
So Reece Shaw with the Swans up by 5 points, out to Teddy Richards.
If I can just come in here, Tommy, I'm amazed how many Sydney Swan players are in front of the kicker inside the back 50 for a kickoff. Crowding everything out, no room to move.
Tough ball to mark that one, and in the end just escorted over the line by Matthew Wright. Just about a sellout at Amy Stadium today. Probably less than 1,000 seats unsold. Wonderful atmosphere. Terrific game as Adelaide come back to the finals for the first time since 2009. Fourth final series in a row for the Sydney Swans. And that prize so big. A home preliminary final. Tippett now to do the ruck work with Mumford, almost being held on to Mumford. Bolton taken high.
Won't be long before you expect to see Jude with the wraparound mummy look that he's sports often.
He's made it his own, hasn't he? Bolton goes with a long kick. Reed pulled off the footy, the ball over the line on the wing. Outer side, Sydney leading by 5 points with just over 2 minutes to play in this opening term.
And Jude Bolton, the next game he plays will be in Sydney. It'll be game 300, Tommy. A remarkable career.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding. Heart and soul of the Bloods.
Jack McVeigh, they just work it through here, the Bloods, into half forward. They go Rutten front spot against Morton. Couldn't take it cleanly. McGlynn, he crumbs, but not cleanly enough.
Loose player for Adelaide. They're trying to free up Riley, and Sydney have got a loose player back most of the time. Richards in this case is by himself. So it's interesting that neither side are able to penetrate because of that loose player at this stage.
Well, Vince just pulls his kick and did it beautifully to find Callanan.
Perfect kick there, Hamish. Called it a treat. That's what you have to do. You've got to sum up the situation so quickly as soon as you see a loose man there, and Vince uses the ball well always.
What a story, Callanan. Finally playing finals football after a journey that's achieved so much, particularly on this ground. 4 grand finals and wins for Central Districts. Now Shaw spears it in, finds Doughty. He goes short over the top of Petrenko, and it falls into a former Crows' hands in Marty Matner.
Well, he was the loose player, and they kicked it straight to the loose player, so it's...
Smith now to Bird, back to Matner. They retreat, but they hold on to the football, the Swans. They've done well in this term. The Swans have kept the Crows to just 1 goal. They've kicked 3 goals or more in every opening term this year, the Crows. Not yet this afternoon.
Nick Smith was the target. He couldn't mark, and drifting across. Terrific mark by Doughty. So with less than a minute to play, a chance for the Adelaide Crows to take the lead at quarter time. Doughty sends it in long. That's the direction. Walker, the cavalry arrived. And in the end, a big fist on the ball from Marty Matner, the 30-year-old from Sturt. 6 seasons in the number 39 Guernsey for Adelaide. 98 games. He's the only South Australian in the Sydney team this afternoon. Mumford worked his way to the front. McVeigh. Here's Richards. Out wide, Adam Goods. He's got a bit of space if the ball will sit. Gee, it didn't. I wonder if he could have gone a bit harder there, Adam Goods. It's a big question to ask a dual Brownlow medalist. Sanderson coming down. He'll be very happy, I would think. Given that Sydney's start was ferocious, they're in the game, Tom, and that would have been the important thing. Yeah, no doubt about that. The key numbers when you're looking at a game, particularly a finals, contested possession. Sydney just up 36-32. That's what Brenton Sanders will be saying. Let's just get back. Let's win that as an indicator. Swans will be happy, though. They'll take the points for the first quarter.
Sando looks dead calm. Tommy, what's the reality?
I just think he's a really balanced individual. I mean, I got asked that question during the week. How is he always so relaxed? I think balanced is the best way to describe him.
Goods, he starts his run from half-back. Time against the Bloods here. They'll go into quarter time with a lead, though. Only 3 goals in the opening term. And it was tight and ferocious. A little bit of niggle as we go to the breaks. Brenton Sanderson, he just cruises onto the park. 11 wins from 12 outings this year at Amy for the Crows. At quarter time, the Swans lead the second qualifying final by 5 points on Saturday afternoon football.